What if everything you think you know about Iran only tells half the story? For most Americans, the word Iran brings to mind headlines, politics, and news alerts. Not much else. But behind that narrow picture is a country most outsiders have never actually seen. Picture a city where modern high-rises stand beneath snow-capped mountains, where palaces built 2,500 years ago are still standing, where old bazaars, third-wave coffee shops, and centuries-old customs share the same block. That's the Iran most people never hear about. It's a place with striking architecture, legendary hospitality, incredible food, and one of the oldest continuous civilizations on Earth. Historians widely agree that ancient Persia left a lasting mark on the ancient world. From road building and postal systems to law, art, and administration, many of its innovations shaped empires that came after it. So why do most people abroad know so little about it? Today, we're setting stereotypes aside to explore the real Iran in 2026, a country layered with history, culture, and landscapes most travelers never get to witness firsthand. This is Iran, seen differently. Long before many modern nations existed, one of history's great civilizations was rising here. More than 2,500 years ago, the Achaemenid Persian Empire stretched across 3 continents. At its height, one of the largest empires the ancient world had seen. Its legacy wasn't just military. Persian rulers built road networks, postal relay systems, and administrative structures that influenced how later empires, including Rome, organized themselves. At the empire's ceremonial heart stood Persepolis, a city of towering stone columns, grand staircases, and carved reliefs depicting emissaries arriving from across Asia, Africa, and Europe to pay tribute. Walking through its ruins today still feels like stepping into another era. Every stone carries traces of the kings, artisans, and travelers who once passed through. Centuries later, that legacy hasn't disappeared. Persian poetry, architecture, and cultural pride remain woven into everyday Iranian life. But history is only the starting point. Next, we leave the ancient world behind and step into modern Iran. Its cities, its people, and a generation shaping the country's future while carrying forward a 2,500-year-old identity. As the sun rises over the Alborz Mountains, a different side of Iran wakes up. Commuters fill the roads, cafes open their doors, university students head to class, an ordinary morning for millions of people. This is modern Iran, a country where ancient history and present-day life sit side by side. At its center is Tehran, home to roughly 9 million people and one of the most populous urban areas in the Middle East. Skyscrapers, shopping malls, wide highways, and one of the region's busiest metro systems make up a skyline that surprises most first-time visitors. Tehran's neighborhoods hold tree-lined parks, coffee shops, rooftop restaurants, bookstores, and busy commercial districts. By morning, offices are humming. By afternoon, markets fill with shoppers and students. By evening, parks and public squares turn into gathering spots for friends and families. Education plays a central role in Iranian society. Universities across the country train students in engineering, medicine, architecture, and the sciences, and despite ongoing economic pressures, including U.S. and international sanctions that have limited trade and access to technology, Iran's tech sector and startup scene have continued to grow. Even amid modernization, family remains the anchor of daily life. Multi-generational dinners, weekend visits with relatives, and shared celebrations are the norm rather than the exception. Visitors often mention one thing above all else: hospitality. Welcoming guests, even strangers asking for directions, is treated as a point of pride across the country. Walk through any Tehran neighborhood, and you'll hear kids playing in parks, friends sharing tea at outdoor cafes, and musicians filling public spaces with traditional melodies. It's a place where modern life and centuries-old tradition exist without much friction. And nowhere is that blend more visible than at the dinner table. Because in Iran, food isn't just a meal. It's how history, hospitality, and family come together. Next, we explore Iranian cuisine, its markets, and the traditions that make this culture so distinct. If you want to understand Iran, don't start with the monuments. Start with a dinner invitation. In Iran, food is central to how families celebrate, how friendships form, and how traditions pass between generations. The smell of saffron, grilled meat, and fresh bread fills kitchens across the country every day. Recipes vary by region, but the care behind each meal doesn't. Cheilo kebab, grilled meat served over saffron rice with grilled tomatoes and melted butter, is one of the country's signature dishes. Gourmet sabzi, a slow-cooked herb stew with fresh greens, beans, and dried lime, is a staple of home cooking. Pheasantjan, made with walnuts and pomegranate, delivers a sweet and savory flavor that's hard to find outside Persian cuisine. Fresh flatbread comes out of neighborhood bakeries throughout the day, and tea is served nearly everywhere, in homes, mountain villages, and city cafes alike. Sharing tea is less a habit than a social ritual. Iran's historic bazaars extend that culture into commerce. Handmade Persian carpets, copperware, ceramics, miniature paintings, spices, dried fruit, pistachios, and saffron fill stall after stall. These markets function less like shopping centers and more like living museums, where skills passed down for generations are still practiced daily. Outside the bazaars, life moves at its own pace. Families picnicking in parks, kids playing under the trees, friends lingering over tea and conversation. Each March, Nowruz, the Persian New Year, brings millions of families together to decorate their homes, share meals, and welcome spring. The tradition dates back more than 3,000 years and remains one of the most important on the Iranian calendar. Poetry and music are still part of everyday conversation. Verses from classical Persian poets, Hafez, Rumi, Ferdowsi, get quoted in homes and classrooms just as often as they were centuries ago. What surprises many outside visitors most isn't the ancient sites. It's the ordinary people who take pride in welcoming guests and keeping these traditions alive. But Iran's most striking feature wasn't built by any dynasty. It was shaped by geography itself. Next, the mountains, deserts, islands, and coastlines that make Iran one of the most geographically diverse countries on Earth. After the history, the cities, and the culture, one thing remains: the landscape itself. Few countries offer this much variety within a single trip. In the north, the Alborz Mountains rise above Tehran's skyline, their snow-capped peaks drawing skiers and hikers each winter. To the west, the Zagros Mountains stretch for hundreds of miles, forested valleys, rivers, and villages where life still moves at a slower pace. Head south, and the scenery changes entirely. The Persian Gulf coastline mixes modern marinas and sandy beaches with island getaways. Kish Island draws visitors with its clear water resorts and shopping districts. Keshem Island, the largest in the Persian Gulf, is known for its sea caves, mangrove forests, and dramatic rock formations. And Hormuz Island, nicknamed a Rainbow Island, is famous for red, orange, and purple mineral-streaked mountains that look almost otherworldly. Inland, the Lut Desert stretches across southeastern Iran, one of the hottest and driest places on the planet, with dunes, wind-carved rock formations, and some of the clearest night skies anywhere in the world. By contrast, the Caspian Sea coast in the north is lush and green, dense forests, rolling hills, and farmland that feels worlds away from the desert interior. That range, snowy peaks, coastal islands, deserts, and forests, all within a few days' travel, is part of what makes Iran so distinctive geographically. Iran is a country shaped by thousands of years of history, a resilient culture, striking landscapes, and a hospitality that consistently surprises the visitors who experience it firsthand. No single headline or photograph can capture that. It has to be seen through its streets, its markets, its mountains, and its people, because beyond the stereotypes, there's a much fuller story waiting to be told. And maybe the real destination isn't a new country at all. It's a new way of seeing one. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Iran. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe, and join the American Doc for more hidden cultures and unforgettable stories from around the world. See you in the next one.